You got some redness in your eye.
Yeah, that was expected. They said that's
There's
part
only
of it.
one though.
Is there not on the other one?
No.
Look at closer.
There's only that one.
Only in that one? Oh, that's my bad eye, I guess. No,
So, yeah.
that's part of the Lasik thing.
Lasik, huh?
It's part of the. They said that's what it's gonna be like expected for like a month, I think.
Really? I didn't have any.
Really? No, it's it's like, if you're just listening, they're like little small specks of like ruptured blood vessels.
Oh,
in
so
your,
that's what it is.
which is kind of expected. If they're going to take a laser to your eye,
Right.
it's expected that it's gonna
It's very small.
cut some
It's kind of
vasculature.
weird because it's not like
Is it symmetrical, or is it kind of all over the place?
it's just like one little.
Oh, just one little thing.
spot. Yeah.
I want my money back.
Yeah. Tell him.
LASIK is it's such an interesting thing. The doctor said that because how bad my vision was, which was like almost -6, he said there's a good chance I'll have to do a touch up like in 6 months. Like,
But you didn't tell me that.
No. Before doing it, he says your vision's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that.
Well, he also said don't rub your eyes, but I didn't tell you that either. I'm not supposed to like come
Well,
home.
that's important. I feel like information that you'd have to redo it in 6 months.
No, okay, so not necessarily redo, like a touch up.
Is that part of the price, or do you have to pay extra?
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Well, no, I think I have to do extra.
You have to pay for it again?
Well, no, okay, so let me back up before you're freaking out right now.
No, I'm not freaking out. It was interesting because you told your mom yesterday, but you didn't tell me
Tell my mom what?
about that.
That touch up part? I didn't tell
Uh-huh.
my mom that.
You did? I was listening.
Oh. So he said that how bad the prescription is like sometimes you can't do it all because they have like a measuring way, right?
Right.
They said you can't do it all like in terms of you're reshaping the cornea, and that's the most you can reshape it, and then you have to let some time to heal the scarring or whatever that's happening, and then you can come again. If you don't let it heal, then it might be a little too dangerous, right?
And corneas get too thin.
Right. So when I went to go get checked up today, it was 20/20 vision. They did a thing. And he said that 20/20 line is going to get even crispier, so it's going to be even better than 20/20. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to need to be, like, we got it all done in one hit, so there's no need for me to come back for another touch-up or anything like that. So that's pretty amazing.
Right.
Having
such bad vision.
My brother, he said he had to go get his touched up done twice, but he said it's because he strained his eyes. Like, I think the way he said it, he's like, here's some advice: don't overstrain your eyes. Take it from somebody who had it done twice. He says those 2-week period is like important for resting. But then I asked my doctor, I was like, is that bro science? And I was like, what does it look like for me to rest my eyes? Because it's not like I could be working, so I'm gonna be watching TV. They're like, no, we're all back to work the next day. Like all the gals at the office.
Yeah.
They're like, just take 20-minute breaks or take a break every 20 minutes. Or
It means like don't sit in front of the computer for 8 hours.
That's exactly what he did. He was like, oh, I got LASIK. I'm working from home.
Yeah.
8-hour shit. 8-hour.
It's like duh.
Office
They're
hours.
still healing.
Your
but
eyes
if
are
you're just
tired.
watching TV like at a distance.
Right.
It's fine.
Right. So it was, and man, people always say, like, I can't tell you how many DMs I got of people going like, it's the best decision I ever made, or my husband did it and it's the best decision he ever made. Why didn't I do it sooner? You hear stories like that, but unless you are truly blind, and I was blind. I mean, I can't, as we're sitting a foot and a half away, I wouldn't be able to recognize your face that far away. Mm-hmm. It's such a trip to be like, well, even right now I'm like, I don't have contacts, and I could see clear.
You see better than with contacts, right?
I see better with contacts
Than you did with.
Well, I think
contacts.
the only way I'll know that if there's a line that I could read, like
Right.
the doctor actually maybe knows, like, hey, with contacts, this is the lowest line you're able to read.
Right. I think I remember like I wore contacts for a really long time, and
This is not about you right now. Okay, this is about my journey.
Listen, I'm gonna be part of the club. I got mine done like almost 10 years ago. So.
Oh, look at you! Back when technology hadn't figured itself
Yes.
out. Which LASIK's only been around for 20 years, so you got it at the halfway point.
I didn't realize that.
It was the first procedure ever done in 1991.
1991, huh?
1991.
That recent. That
So
doesn't seem that long ago.
30 years. No, 1990. Yeah, 91. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 30 something.
30 some years ago. So What was your experience?
Well,
Did
I just remember, because I wore contacts for a long time, but for the last like 6 months of me wearing contacts, I started getting ulcers in my eyes from these specific contact lenses.
Is it like an allergic reaction or pressure?
I don't know. It must
Ulcers,
have been a
I think, are
reaction.
from pressure.
It was definitely from the contacts, because I had just switched from my regular ones that I wore all the time, and the optometrist was like, "Just try these. These are like a new up and coming nice lens."
They just came in from
I think
Chernobyl.
it was some kind of AccuView, so it's like, name brand.
I used it before. Yep.
But they were like a specific kind. I can't remember the exact.
There's
like,
AccuView. I had AccuView 2 Advanced. I think that's what I had.
I don't remember. It was the Oasis. It might have been
Oasis. Oh, I had Oasis. I did have Oasis.
Or maybe it was something else.
Okay.
I just remember
Well, I'm
it
trying
was
to
like,
fit in. Okay.
I just remember it was some kind of like new ones.
Right.
And I wore them for like 2 months, and I started like, I just remember I couldn't tell. I thought it was allergies at first, because I'm like, my eyes always feel itchy and like there's sand in them.
Yeah. While wearing
And
contacts.
While wearing contacts. And I mean, you get that from contacts every once in a while, but it started getting progressively worse and worse to where I like couldn't even see. It would hurt so bad. I couldn't open my eyes all the way. And so I started like taking my contacts out and only wearing them every once in a while. And I'm like, what is wrong with my eyes? So I ended up going to the eye doctor again, and he told me I had ulcers in my eyes, but he claimed it wasn't from the contacts. He's like, give your eyes a rest. Here's these like drops you take. And he's like, and then put the contacts back in. I probably took a rest from them for like, I don't know. He told me like a couple weeks. So I didn't wear them for a couple weeks, wore glasses. The minute I put the contacts back in, it took only like a week, and I started getting that pain again, like the sandpaper feeling. And I was like, it's the contacts. But by then, my ulcers were so bad, they told me I couldn't really wear contacts again.
Can you see these ulcers? Were they like visual? Like, can you like look in the mirror?
No. They were like inside, but they were like basically like, they called them ulcers, but it's basically like scarring in my eye, scars in my eye. And so he was like, your option is glasses or LASIK. And I did not want to wear glasses because my vision was bad too. It wasn't like yours, but my contacts or my glasses were pretty thick too.
Yeah.
Made my eyes look like beady.
Yeah.
I think my vision was like negative 4.5. So
yeah. Wow.
Anyway, so I ended up getting the LASIK done, but even before I had got it done, I had to wait a month for like the ulcers to heal, and then
So you were in your glasses that time?
I had to wear my glasses for that long. Yeah, it sucked. I would do like what you do. I would take them off when I'd be around people, and then only like when I was at home would wear them.
So you just go blind.
Yeah. You do like that one eye thing and you squint.
When we were recording here, because I had to be out of my like contacts for a week for my cornea to relax, and every time I'd be on like talk to the camera, I would take my glasses off and put it in my pocket.
You're like, where do I look?
Yeah.
Where's the little red dot?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I had a really great experience because even though my contacts experience was terrible towards the end, what I was gonna say was, because like the last 6 months of wearing contacts, I didn't see well anyway, that when I got LASIK, it was like, whoa, I'm seeing like extra clear. It's almost like this
it's like having an outdated glass.
4-dimensional kind of.
It's like an outdated glasses prescription.
Yes.
And then they like
get
tune
new
it up. You're
ones.
like, whoa, this is 4K.
Yeah. It's like when you're watching a video and it's still fuzzy just a little bit, and then it clears up. That's what it's like.
Oh, interesting. It's like when you're
It's like
underwater
buffering. Yeah.
and there's should we go back and forth?
Yes.
It's like, just keep painting these analogies.
But that's why, like, for me, I was like, whoa. And especially because once I got it done, he was like, you're seeing better than 20/20 because of how well the laser was able to reshape the eye. And I was like, this is incredible. So
And how old were you?
20. It was right before we met. So 20. I wasn't even 23 yet. I think I was 22. Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't meet you while you were wearing googly eyes like that. And these
Googly eyes.
bottle cap.
Hey, I stuck with you during your glasses phase for the last month.
Yeah, but, you know.
Well, yeah.
You already married me. Did I keep it a secret from you that I had glasses? When is the
No.
first time I showed you what I look like in glasses?
You never really did. You just always wore contacts.
No. So that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
those glasses we got together. I mean, we were already
we
married.
did get them together, huh?
Yeah, you got like them extra special lenses to make them thinner, and they're still
NASA lenses, and they're still
still so thick.
super magnifying.
Yeah,
that's the thing is like they. It's one thing when you have to put up with these like crazy prescription, crazy curvature on the glasses,
right?
In terms of like it hurts your eyes, but it's another thing when you visually look different. Like it shrinks your eyeballs from the person who's looking at you.
Yeah,
your eyeballs look smaller. And that's where it gets weird. And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to look weird.
right.
But
Doesn't feel like you.
it was very terrifying. Like,
It is.
I don't want to scare anybody off from it, but I was less scared getting my vasectomy. And I was less scared when I broke my arm and had a compound fracture. And I had to push my bone back in. This was truly scary because it's so precision based, and even though the risk of blindness is so small, according to what the physician said, there's more like risk of like infection and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That's still what you think about, though.
Oh,
when you're
100%.
having a laser in your eye.
And
you're awake for it.
It cuts the flap of the cornea off, and you have this like dime-sized clear flap that they just cut off your eye. Which I still don't know if they do it with a laser or they do it with a little blade or something.
It's incredible that you can't feel it, because I know they put like numbing
drops in there.
But that numbing drops work on your eyes.
Yes.
You know, that's so crazy.
Well, it was crazy that you don't blink either.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, I haven't blinked in a minute now.
Yeah, because it has that little tool.
Well, no, not that. Like when they put the drops in, you don't have a desire to blink anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I was like sitting there. I was like,
I don't think I noticed that.
I was like,
it's because they're so numb.
I feel how heavy they are, and I was like, why am I not blinking? And then I was like, oh, maybe I should blink and clear my eye.
Maybe I should blink. Oh, I don't think I even noticed that. I think I was just too nervous.
And then they take this eyeball holder, which they put in like under your upper and lower lid, and then they put like this like suction cup over it. But I wish they showed me that video and not like what LASIK can or can't do for you. Like they showed you a 6-minute like consent video, because consent is sexy. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really show. Well, I think they showed a little. They showed like what they're doing, but they never really showed like. I think I found a YouTube video that was like way better than the one at the doctor's office, because the one at the doctor's office, I think they shot it in 1992 after a year of doing LASIK.
I can't believe they haven't like updated it.
It was on an iPad and everything. Like it wasn't like it looked like it was in a VHS, you know. But the YouTube video is great. So they'll cut that little flap cornea off, not off, but like cut it and then flip it all over. Which
so
again,
that's your cornea, is the part that they.
So the cornea, the cornea is the lens itself on your eye, and then the retina is like the back of your eye.
Right.
And hold on a second. Yeah. Wait a second. I'm backtracking a little bit. No, your cornea, I think, is the color of your eyes, and then there's a lens over it. So they cut that lens. They cut
the lens part off.
They cut the lens not off, but just like as a flap. Mm-hmm. And they do each eye, and they flip it, and you're laying on the table. And then the machine there's like a left side and a right side, and like they're two independent kind of things. So they have you on a sliding table, and you're on the left side of the machine, and that's when they do like one eye, cut the cornea, take the thing that prep you, and then cut the other cornea. So both corneas are cut. And then they move you to the next machine, like slides you over like 2 feet over, and automatically. And then at that point, that's where they introduce the laser. And what's crazy is you could see him using some kind of little tool, which I'm assuming it's like a scalpel, or not a scalpel, but a little hook.
Is it the machine that does it automatically, or does the doctor do it?
What?
The laser.
The machine does it automatically, but the doctor, the trippy part was seeing the flap actually move. So like
you can see it.
You go from
over your eye.
I could see these lights because you're looking, and that's another thing. What's scary is that they have all these lights in there that you're like. I almost wish there's a way to like in my brain to turn off my vision, because I don't want to see how this is done.
That's the trip.
And so your tripping balls going like, oh, here's a flap that's actually just flapped open now. Then they flapped it open. It's super blurry. You're like, oh, okay, that's the flap. And you see him with some kind of sharp tool kind of moving out of the way. You're like, that's terrifying. And then the laser starts, which there's a smell of burning flesh that's very common. Like I've been in enough surgical rooms to be used to that smell. Like they'll use that if a woman's bleeding after birth. They'll use it in surgery when they cut you open because all the not the veins, but the little capillaries are bleeding to stop the bleeding. But so that smell was very common to me, like a very used. But
it's weird though.
It's a
like
weird smell.
Knowing that it's on your eye.
It's trippy. So what was cool is they did a countdown. They're like, okay, just 10 seconds. So he goes, okay, 5 more seconds. We're almost done.
For the laser? Yeah, the laser is quick.
And that's the part that reshapes your cornea, and that's the part that essentially
like
fixes
seconds,
your vision. And then and you see them putting the flap back on, and he's kind of brushing something over it. I think maybe like a cotton swab or something. But it was really fast. It was terrifying because the whole time he goes, don't move, don't talk, don't, and you just focus on your breathing. The whole time you're like, okay, my neck is not secured into anything. It's just laying there.
Yeah, if I move right now,
I'm like, what if I need to go, like, clear my throat? Like,
what if you start coughing?
Oh my gosh.
That would be like because I actually tend to, in like very stressful situations, that's almost like a defense mechanism for me. I actually start coughing. My throat starts closing up, and I need to like cough.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't do that.
When they tell you don't move, don't cough, don't talk, you're like, well, guess what I need to do now? I need to cough now.
Yeah, I have to sneeze actually.
So the whole time, like, I was like just breathing in a pace.
Luckily, it's so quick that like it's almost like your body doesn't have time to respond in these like.
Oh, I had plenty of time to respond. I was just focusing. It's 10 seconds, so you're like, okay, these are the longest 10 seconds of my life.
Yeah.
Don't move.
I remember it going so quickly. I think the Valium helped.
Yeah, Valium did help. Which is funny because I didn't take the Valium when I had a vasectomy.
I was it does help you relax just a tiny bit. I mean, you're still scared and nervous and all the things, but it just takes the edge off a little.
Oh yeah, I wish they gave me 2 Valiums.
Really?
Well, because not necessarily that I'm like, oh, I like the Valium. It was the perfect amount to take the edge off, but I noticed I was still holding my breath, and I was like, that feeling that you're about to go on stage and like talk to a crowd of people, so your stomach kind of drops.
Yeah.
That was the feeling, but I was realizing like, oh, I'm just holding my breath. I need to just like breathe.
Yeah. I know. Then trying to breathe where you're not like making too much motion.
Yeah, and it's after it's done, which I would say the whole procedure is like, I think I was on that table for a total of 15 minutes, right? Because
I would say less.
Well, no, because it's like positioning, repositioning.
The actual laser. So they cut it open. That takes about a few seconds, and the laser part takes 15 seconds.
And you feel nothing. You feel nothing.
It's the in between stuff that takes a little bit longer.
You feel absolutely nothing on the eyes. You feel no pain. You don't feel any kind of stinging. The gals, the nurses in that room, they were so good that they would constantly add those numbing drops, like every couple of like seconds or minutes or whatever. And you felt absolutely nothing. I think it's just getting over the fear of like, I can't believe I'm staring at this thing with my eyeball.
Yes. And it's almost like your brain is playing tricks on you because you don't feel anything, but you should be able to feel something, right?
Correct.
It's almost like your brain is like, wait a second, you need to be feeling this because there's a laser going in your eye. It's all weird.
And it's true what people say, like you actually start seeing normally the moment of, like the moment you get up, it looks like you just like your eyes were underwater, so everything's a little fuzzy like that, but you're like, oh, I could read that sign.
Yeah. It's crazy how quickly, because I thought like for sure when I got it done, I'm like, they're gonna tell me to close my eyes and like keep them closed for the rest of the day.
I felt
and he's like, nope, you're fine.
I felt so. This is where the fear went away, is when they finished one eye and they taped it my eyelid down, taped it closed so I don't open my eye for like a couple of minutes while they're working on the other eye.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first part that I felt like safe.
Done. Yeah.
Safe. Like I was like I want to close my, after like your eyes open like that, you're like, can I
please close my eye?
Can I please close my eye? Like I feel safe now.
All right.
And yeah, you see it right away. It's trippy that it's an in and out. Like we just opened your eye lid, and not eyelid, your lens of your eye, put a laser and burn a bunch of stuff. Okay, bye. Like go home.
Yeah. See ya. And it's an outpatient procedure.
It's terrifying. I was in my flip-flops. Yeah. I was in my flip-flops and a t-shirt on a surgical table. Like
so weird.
I'm like, they were good, man. Their system over there, they were like anticipating anything and everything, and
they've got it down to a science.
They do 30. They said between 15 and 30 a day and they do it like 3 times a month.
Yeah, so they kind of
And every the rest of the time spent is like doing 1 day post-op, 1 week post-op, the pre-op. You know,
All the other
everybody's like,
appointments, yeah.
because there's a crap ton of appointments before and after that you got to do like follow-ups.
It's a lot. That's crazy. So many.
It was nuts, man.
You're probably one of the first ones of the day, so that's good. I feel like I
Maybe-
would not want to be one of the last ones.
No,
of the day.
I think they did say there were the I was like the second or something. Not second. They say the doctor's finishing up with one right now. You'll be up next.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
like
sure.
a conveyor belt. Like
Yeah.
there's a small waiting room for like pre-op, and there's like 4 of us
Yeah.
people sitting there. They're
Yeah.
like,
Just next.
"Are
next,
we all?
next,
Yeah, are we all?" It's
And everybody's nervous.
it's amazing to me that a thing like this. First of all, I think this is the biggest miracle of science. I mean, maybe like
Insane.
neurologically is a different thing. Like I'm sure in medicine how they can restore somebody's vision who's born blind, perhaps,
Yeah. Or like hearing.
or
That's a big
hearing. That's
one.
another great one. Yeah, but the ability to be like you couldn't see before, and now you could see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was content with contact lenses. I've lived enough in them that I was content. But the invention of the contact lens is probably the world's greatest invention, in my opinion. Not the iPhone, and
Contrary to popular belief.
Contrary to popular belief, and then I think the ability to restore vision like that, which might I add is fairly inexpensive. It's a good chunk of change, but it's fairly inexpensive. If you're wondering, if you're wondering like what something like that runs, how much was it when you got it done 10 years ago?
I think it was still like 5,000.
It was 5. Yeah,
Maybe
it
like
was.
55,
It was like 47 or 40.
45.
Well, I think there was some like pre-ups out of
Oh,
pocket
yeah,
I paid,
okay.
but I think it was between 45 and 4,700 bucks, and the ability to restore your vision.
Yeah. Which they also do payment plans if you
They do.
want it. Like
That's cool. I think
cool. That's great that they're able. I know that insurance doesn't cover LASIK, so that's a bummer.
Nobody's insurance covers LASIK.
It's a bummer,
That's
but
not a thing.
But it's for me and for you, it's like 1,000% worth it.
They're doing God's work out there, man. The ability to restore vision like that. I think this should be like a free government subsidized thing, is like to be able to give people the ability to see.
And that quickly.
And they call it an elective procedure. Like
Yeah.
now there's also a whole thing of like apparently only like 75% of the people actually qualify for it.
Right.
It's the thickness of your cornea that matters.
So I have a friend that couldn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause
And we always hang it over her head, be like, look at this.
your corneas are so thin right
look
now.
at this thin cornea.
Yeah. But that kind of sucks though, because it's like the people that, there's
Yeah.
people, that want it probably so bad and they just have to wear contacts.
There's no
I wonder if they could do that PDK or PRK, whatever it is.
PRK. So the PRK is they use the laser while you're still they don't cut that lens flap off of you. And from what I hear, and that's not, I think this is complete bro science, but based off of like the 3 people that gave me some advice on LASIK that I had it done or heard of somebody, they had to be like in the dark for like 3 to 7 days.
That one's more invasive, I think. Like
Less invasive. I think it's more, because invasiveness means like we're cutting something off.
Oh, I guess I mean more
Intense?
more intense. Recovery's longer.
Because the blurriness makes sense that maybe the lens gets burnt too. That's probably why. I wonder.
Yeah. Because I have heard, and then that's where you hear the horror stories. I think is from that procedure itself.
Yeah. I think my brother, he had it that way, and then a few people that I've heard, they're saying like, oh yeah, my friend did it and they were in the dark, stumbling through the house for a while because they can't be in light because they're really sensitive.
Yes, which
And
that makes sense if you had to go through your lens.
I don't know. It makes more sense if you had to cut the lens open. But hey, what do I know? But
Nothing.
I mean, I just know the fact that today is. I had it done yesterday, and today look at
Feeling
me.
great,
Look at
yeah.
me. I'm looking at stuff.
Yeah. You just have to do, and then afterwards, which I don't remember taking the antibiotics, but I'm sure I did. You have to do antibiotics in your eye to prevent infection. And what's
Yes.
the other one?
A steroid and an antibiotic.
Okay.
And
And
so
then
infection and inflammation are your two
inflammation.
like common things.
And then you have to buy a whole ton of artificial tears because your eyes are so dry.
So dry. And you got to take a drop like every 15 minutes.
Yeah, in the beginning,
Yeah.
like that first week.
Mhm.
What is it? Did they say the first week or the first?
I don't remember that actually. I was going to ask
Yeah.
him about my next appointment.
I thought the paper said. how
I'm sure
often.
if I read it.
I'm sure if I read it.
I was so ill prepared. I came for pre-op, and she's like, "So did you get all your eye drops and medications picked up?" I go, "Nope." She goes, "Oh, you're gonna want them." But it was on their fault because they didn't send him.
Oh, so you're like, that's you guys.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just touching up with a little bit of those artificial tears.
Why are you crying?
I know. It's weird going through a store and like stopping, taking some drops, and like people going like,
yeah. And you have to do this for like a month. I remember doing
tears.
I mean, towards the end, it's like once or twice a day, but it's still, you have to like think about it
and
until your eyes just don't feel that dryness anymore.
They were telling me, and I don't know if it's because like maybe because I've had bad contact days. You know, when those days like your contact is bothering you and it's hurting you or whatever.
All the time.
Especially with your ulcers, that makes sense.
Right.
But like, I would constantly be told by the physicians and everything, like, be expecting it's gonna feel like you have sand in your eyes after that, sand that's dipped in Tabasco sauce. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying. But honestly,
it's not that bad.
It's been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how I felt too. It wasn't that bad, but I also came from like terrible eye pain to that, and I'm like, oh, this is fine. It's just the dryness. That's it.
Huh.
It's just dry.
I also wonder if it's truly like the thickness of like the cornea
helps.
And maybe it's like if you have a thinner one that
you feel it more.
Maybe.
That makes sense. That's why they don't let you do it.
That's probably the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, remember that feeling when you would get like a tear in your contact?
Never had a tear.
You never had a tear in your contact?
An actual tear in a contact?
Yeah.
What kind of cheap crap are you buying?
Apparently,
it's like the people who are like back in the like people
no,
say like,
oh,
the condom ripped. I'm like, what cheap condoms are you buying? Like,
where are you getting
them? Are
you
putting sand in your crotch? What do you like? Who's ripping condoms?
No, I got the ripped contacts all the time, and I don't know, like, are my eyeballs just that like?
Now, when would you notice the ripness? Like the ripness is not the tear. The tear. When would you notice the tear?
Sometimes it would like happen while I was wearing it, or like maybe I just didn't notice, but like I would put it on and I would feel it. So like I would put my contact on and I'd be like, right when I put it on, you know, you let it like kind of move around, and then it'd be like, oh, like something feels weird, and I could immediately like feel if it was ripped.
Really?
Sometimes it would be right in the middle. It's just like a little line. Like if you take your contact out and look at it, you can see a little tear. Or sometimes it'd be like on the very edge, like a little piece would be broken off.
Are you buying stuff on eBay?
Yeah. No, they were expensive contacts. I don't know. Maybe my eyeballs are
I've never
weird.
had a tear. I've had them crimp up a little bit, like, you know, like a crease in the corner, and that's basically because I put them in the little those little cups, those little you know, the contact lens storage case, and you know how like one side would not go into the solution, and so it would kind of bend
dry out.
I've had that, but I've never had a tear.
I had not great experiences with contacts.
The people who are tearing their contacts are the same people who are having like rips in their condoms that are like, they're not having foreplay.
Maybe my eyeballs are too
I was almost going to ask you, like, what's the thing they call before sex?
But I also have astigmatism, so like my eye shape.
What's the thing they call before that stuff you do before sex that
it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. You have astigmatism?
Yeah, so instead of being a round shape, my eye is more of like a football shape. So maybe that has something to do with like the contacts not being
I thought they're all football shaped. I thought they're all like
some of them are more football shaped, and that's astigmatism. So that's why sometimes people with astigmatism can't wear contacts.
Oh, well.
Science.
Did
you know, actually, at one point in my life, I wanted to study optometry.
Why?
I just find it so fascinating, the eyeballs.
The eyeballs. I do think it's fascinating. Here's my only experience with how fascinating it is. As I remember when I was doing my prereqs for nursing in Seattle, they had us take anatomy and physiology class, and they brought cow eyeballs for us to dissect.
They're gross.
Have you done that too?
We did. I feel like we did eyeballs in college. Yeah, in college. I did. Yeah, I took anatomy.
Why'd you take it for
English?
For fun. Just for fun? Oh,
well, I did have a science elective.
Oh, and it was fascinating to see like this like turquoise black material behind the eyeball. It's
They're
fascinating,
gross, yeah.
like how everything's so small, like all
Yeah.
the little, I don't want to call them veins, but like these little capillaries, and you're like, that makes a connection to the back of your
Oh,
brain,
yeah.
and it's all flipped upside down.
So crazy. I always found it fascinating because it's like how we see the world. It was our eyeballs.
Interesting.
And
A lot of
then-
good points are being made right
yes,
now.
I know. But it's also like 10 years of school or something.
Yeah, you're like, I just want to party.
Yeah.
I just want to have a college experience. Yeah. So no, that's the magical world of optometry.
Yes.
I don't want to.
Also,
What?
what is it, Bex? What?
Hey, bud.
I'll make you lunch as soon as we're done, okay? Love you.
This is great. This is really great. This is really professional. This is what happens when you're a parent and you're a podcaster too.
Yeah, the people will love it more, right?
What did you say? You were saying.
Oh, I was also surprising to me, which I find very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not cute, but
Horny?
yes, that was the next one I was gonna say.
All right.
I can't think of the word, but I wasn't expecting you to be so emotional
Oh.
when you came into the car. So like,
horny is the word.
that's the exact word I was looking for. But because I got it done, and I definitely wasn't that emotional. I was just like, cool.
Really?
But then I also had a different experience. First of all, I was telling this to somebody else. I guess I can say this afterwards, but
What?
after we go through your experience of coming. So I had my
Coming?
video
Okay.
coming into the car.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're going to talk about being horny, so. I was going to say. Now you caught me. When you came to the car, I
Yeah.
had my video camera on because I was like, I want to see like his reaction. I
Yeah.
know he's probably going to be like, say something silly and,
Yeah.
make a comment.
Yeah.
And you walked in.
I was bawling like a baby.
No, it was you didn't start crying first. I said, "How does it feel?" And you're just like emotional, and then you started talking about.
And then the floodgates opened
Yeah.
up, and the dam
Yeah.
broke.
It was cute. I wasn't expecting because I was like, usually you have something like
Sure.
witty or funny to say, but I think. And then I was like, "Oh, why are you like?" And I was like, "Oh, you're getting emotional." You're like, and then you started telling
Yeah.
me all about why you're emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So tell the people.
Well, it's actually had this thought. I was like, before going into the operation, I was like, because you've seen those videos online where like the deaf person finally gets a hearing aid, or the blind person, not a blind person, but those colorblind people get those colorblind corrective glasses, and they see things or hear things for the first time, and it's this really heartfelt thing, crying. In the age of having contact lenses, having a really strong prescription is it's scary because not that it could only get worse. It's scary because you're handicapped in the worst case scenario. So if there's a worst case scenario where somebody breaks in the middle of the night and you're trying to get your glasses, you're SOL, right? If you, and again, these are like worst case scenario, you get kidnapped or something like that. And your contacts, pop out or whatever, your glasses aren't there, you're handicapped. One big fear for mine was like hunting. Like I'm hunting, and what if I rub an eye, contact falls out? I don't have my solution. My hands are dirty. Like you're handicapped. And so that part was, in fact, one of the nurses that was there, she asked, "Why are you getting LASIK?" And I said, for these reasons. And she goes, "Yeah, I was in London, and I had my last pair of contacts with me, and the thing ripped, and I couldn't get this prescription there." And so you never want to feel like that vulnerable.
Yes.
So that's first one. A second one for me was, because I've been wearing glasses since I was 10. My upbringing when I was like a kid was never. Like I didn't develop till I got older, and so I was a chubby, short, awkward kid that was bullied in middle school and a little bit in high school. And one of the first things people would always do, because kids are assholes, is they would say, they get in your face, after like shoving you or whatever, And then they're like, I'm gonna break your glasses. That was always like this most iconic thing, where I'm gonna break your glasses. That was that's the first thing people would do. And you kind of did this thing where like your glasses became a thing that both you understood you're vulnerable, and the aggressor of like this bullying is like, I know that vulnerability of yours. Do you want me to take away your vulnerability? You know what I mean? Like, do you want me to take away that crutch that you're laying on? And yeah, it was a feeling of like freedom. And and I remember coming out of the operating room, and they brought me into like the waiting room, and that's when I started getting choked up.
Before?
Yeah, after it was done, I started choking up. Like I came and sat down. She goes, like, that's when I started getting, like all the emotions started coming in. And I kind of held it together, and she's like, oh, are you excited? And I was like, so I kept doing that kind of stuff. And then when I left and I got in the car, that's when the floodgates opened up, and I had one of those good cries. Yeah.
On my shoulder.
Yeah.
It was really sweet. I feel like you let me post it on Instagram, so that was nice.
Were people like, what a girl?
No, people were like, oh, that's so precious. And then like somebody commented actually on the video, is this real, or like, is he being genuine or not, or is he like joking, because I can't tell. And I was like, oh no, he's genuine. I caught him like walking to the car, and he's like, and when I said that, he was like, oh, that's like such a inspiration, that he's like, he's such a guy's guy, but can also be like that vulnerable and share his emotions, and that's such a cool thing.
I started crying so much when I became a dad.
It's cute. Now we cry the same, and I love it.
I cry so much. When's the last time I cried?
Father's Day.
Father's Day. I've never really cried before. I never got emotional. My kids are very emotional to me. Watching them grow up and around me. Yeah. And then I always said two things I'm afraid. Like I've broken an arm, and like while creating YouTube videos, like I had to do this whole thing of like building with one arm. And so I can, that never like defined me of who I am. So I kind of did scenarios. Okay, well, if I lost one arm one time for a period of time, I was like, I never questioned. I never got depressed. I never questioned I just worked harder with my other arm.
Right.
And so I kind of did this thing. Was okay, I think I can lose my leg, maybe both my legs. Heaven forbid, I don't ever want to, but I think I can do that and be fine. Lose a limb and be fine. What I can't do is, my biggest fear is losing my sight, because your vision is your memories, and I can't imagine. And this is why I was nervous into the operation. I was like, I can't imagine losing sight, the inability to see your kids grow up. Like I see that when they're at 1, 5, or 1, 6, and 7 years old, but I also want to see them at 10. I want to see them at 12 and 16. And to be robbed of that, those are your like memories. Like you can't see that, especially when you've had a period of seeing and not seeing. So vision is one thing, and then your head. Like I'm terrified of like head trauma, because
You'll never be the same.
Yeah, you're never the same. I've known too many people who had multiple strong concussions, and the circuitry got rewired in the brain that you're like, you're not that same person. And I'm terrified of that.
Right.
Because your brain is not only who you are, but to me, it's also like, it's my ideas. My ideas is like what pays the bills. Like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. My personality. And so that was the kind of the thing. And so I remember, those are my fears. And like I said, when the last time I bawled so hard was when you made me a Father's Day video. You're very good at recording videos of the kids and taking pictures, and it stores in your cloud. I don't know why our clouds are not synced up. Like I should be able to access it on my phone. Right. But you have all this crazy like videos that I never knew even existed. And you made me this like 6-minute compilation.
It was like 12 minutes.
Was it 12 minutes? It's like 12 or 14 minute compilation.
Like 4 songs.
Right. A compilation of like all these scenes where the kids were around me, whether we're dirt biking or we're wrestling in the backyard when they're, and I like, to me, those things are kind of like the deathbed memories, right? Those are the things you think about when you're in your deathbed, attributed to using your eyes to see, right? And it was like this, I got to experience that at age 32, on Father's Day, and like go over these memories. And I bawled like a baby.
Yeah. It was really cute. What's the time before that? Just kidding.
I'm trying to remember what it was before that.
I can't remember the last time I cried.
I'd get tearied up. You used to cry a lot. You haven't done that before. You used to have this like that whole like time of the month thing where you just need a good cry or something like that. And you haven't done that in a long time.
I think I cried a lot when I first started staging.
You did. You were stressed out. You're like, it was a difficult day.
Yeah.
But like I said,
That's why I haven't cried in a long time.
Right. You're all purged out.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm good.
Work hasn't been as,
dehydrated from it.
All my tears are gone. I need some of your artificial
tears, yeah. No, it's and I only anticipate me crying more because as
they get older, the kids.
Oh my God, yes! Like right now, like kissing my kids on their forehead, and I'm like, I have only such a small time with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have 18 summers, and like, you know, you're 7 already. And like, what's gonna happen? I have 11 more. I have to make 11 incredible more, and then hopefully at that point you're still gonna want to hang out with me and not your friends. And so yeah, no, I'm only gonna cry even more. Oh, I'm gonna bawl.
I'm glad. Now I won't be the only one crying in this house.
Yeah.
Me and the kids. Usually.
It's important that I got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. That way I'd be like, oh, he's such a wuss. It's like, yeah, but I can still choke you out and kill you. Yeah, I can still choke you out while I'm crying. While I'm crying. You ever been choked out by a crying man before? You put a rear naked chokehold, put in an arm bar by a crying man.
As he's wiping the tears from his eyes.
The guy arm I'm breaking, he's so confused. He's like, I'm confused. What's going on? I miss my children.
I love them so much.
They're growing up so fast.
No, I love it. I think I love seeing that vulnerable, tender side.
There's which is funny you say that because not like I ever came off as a very tough guy.
No, you didn't. But it's more like in the first few years we were married, I don't think I even saw you cry once.
No.
Maybe like once.
No. Yeah. Oh, you know when the first time I think I cried in front of you was when we had a miscarriage.
Really?
Yeah.
That far into it?
I think so. I don't know before that when I cried. Maybe
there might have been like one other time,
one?
but it was very few and far between. But now, I just love that I can cry on your shoulder, you can cry on mine.
It's funny going back to when I'm saying like you come from a young age of like being bullied, so that kind of jacks you up mentally and your confidence. Mm-hmm. But it's not until like you become like I guess develop. I don't know how to even put it. Like it's not until you start figuring some of your own stuff out, who you want to be as a man, and you've done some difficult things that you consider kind of tough, like running marathons or going through a thing that voluntarily going through something that nobody else wants to go through, or taking the path of most resistance and conquering your inner bitch, like I always say, that. And then, maybe doing some kind of martial arts where you're actually taking out a lot of this aggression with somebody else in a fair lineup. That you kind of go, you know what? I got a pretty good grasp on masculinity, and I don't need to prove anybody of toughness to anything. I just want to be a nice person until I'm pushed otherwise. And so therefore crying becomes really easy, Yeah. I think it's the people who are I think it's the guys that have a hard time. Is that a hair of yours? No, that's a thread. I think it's the guys that are more embarrassed about crying are the guys that are a little more insecure about themselves and their masculinity.
Probably.
It's like,
who knows?
I mean,
you could, yeah.
I'm a huge fanboy of Joe Rogan, and he's a trained killer. I mean, he's a crazy train. I mean, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, black belt in taekwondo. I mean, around killers in the octagon of the MMA. And he's like, oh, I cry all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think when you don't have to worry about coming across a certain way to other people, you're easily.
Sometimes it feels good to cry. I don't know.
I don't agree one bit of that. No, I don't like crying. I don't like it.
Sometimes, like for me, I mean, I'm
I think
wired differently.
I think it's a hormone that's in your body.
It actually feels good to cry sometimes.
You guys have what you guys call the psychotic.
It's like a release.
You guys have the psychotic thing you call a happy cry.
Yes, I've had that.
Guys don't have happy cries.
Well, the Father's Day thing was a happy cry.
It was, but it wasn't like a happy cry. Like I needed that. Like I didn't have this pent up thing. Look, if I have anything pent up, let's have sex, and I'm no longer pent up.
That's your release.
That's my release. I don't need a good cry, like they say, like a good movie to watch, or like a good cry.
Yeah.
movies jack me up. I was watching.
I get really emotional.
I was watching freaking Ford versus Ferrari yesterday, which is my favorite movie to date now. And I watched it probably I don't know how many times now. And yeah, there's a scene in there where the guy is like, you know, he lost his auto shop and the ability provided for his family. His wife is working 2 jobs, and she's freaking out at him, yelling at him. He's like, "I can't. You better not be racing again. You know, we're gonna lose the house, and I'm not losing my home." And he's like, "Hey, I got offered, and they're paying this much, and it's a crazy amount." And she was like crazy excited, and that teared me up because I've been there. Like I've been there being broke with you, and I was like, "Hey, you know,
we got this deal.
Check out the paycheck that the brand's paying me." And this is like in the early stages of Mr. Bill It, and I was like, you know, we couldn't absorb an extra $500 bill, and then and then boom, this like crazy deal happened, and I was like excited to tell you to make you proud. So it's like stuff like that. Were there and so anytime there's hardship or a relationship with their children.
Yes,
it's
that stuff will get parents, me too.
It gets me all the time, man. I'm always in the back choking up. Oh, here's another one. What I can't watch is children or women being mistreated.
Yeah.
Like we turned on Black Widow, and then there's like the very beginning, like couple of minutes of it where they're like the girls were being separated. And
then they were taken to that like training
to the training assassins, but the 2 sisters were like, "No, don't take her." Yeah. I was like, I had to look away, and I gave you the remote. I was like,
we had to fast forward that part because it was rough.
I told you to fast forward.
The opening credits, those are.
I was like, I can't watch this. Like, I bawl like a baby.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
That's how they pull at your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you can cry now.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Lasik.
It was sweet. I'm glad everything went well, and
I didn't cry when I got the Porsche. So I mean, that tells you, you know, there's priorities behind it. I'll probably cry if you ever scratch it, you know.
Or
you keep asking me to teach you how to drive the stick, which I'm 100% for. But I have this like one scary like thought that always crosses my mind. I go, what if she pulls up, because it's a very low car. Like, what if she comes up to like when you on a parking spot, you know, there's a sidewalk. What if she like doesn't know where it is, and then she just like rams the bumper into it? And I was like, I would probably cry. You know, but
you'd be so mad.
I wouldn't be mad at you because I know you're very good about like how do I put it? Because anytime there's something like that's either expensive or vulnerable, whatever, and I give you instructions, you're very good about listening to all those instructions, and I'd be like, oh, I know, and actually following them. Like one of the first ones was you wanted her to learn how to drive the boat, specifically when somebody's wake surfing, and how to get them. Because if you don't maneuver the right way, they're easy steps, but if you don't follow those little steps and you turn the boat around, because you created this big wave that somebody's surfing, there's like an inch of water that goes into the boat from this wave that splashes in. And you were very good about listening and doing exactly what I told you, and I was like, oh, cool, I could trust you. So I wouldn't be mad at you because I know you always mean well. I think it would just take that
one time. If I like took it out once with you, it would kind of calm you down. But I am honestly terrified of driving. I want to learn to drive it, but I also don't want to drive it because I'm so terrified.
I think it's the fact that like I think the appreciation on my part. I think with the people that get mad at a spouse or somebody else who like not wrecks, but like damages the thing. Mm-hmm. I think the people who do that is as the person who's preserving this thing. You know, you give it the most caution, right? You're overly cautious. You're careful not to park too close, not to park too far, because you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. And I think the only thing the other person wants to hear is the other people in the same situations is they want to see that person who's trying their car or borrowing it is treating it as equally as cautious, if not more, than them.
Right.
And so when you like what I would love to see is that when you're behind it, and I'll teach you driving and all that stuff, is like I want to be like my paranoia around it. I want to see like your paranoia about it. So like when I go to a parking spot, I'll like go like when it's like more in the back and open, and when I come to a curb, you know, that I'm parking the car, that I'll just like stop way prematurely, and I'd rather give myself 2 feet in front of it than so like when you do that kind of thing, which I already see you in the garage, like you're always like yelling at the boys if they get too close to the car or something. Go to the side. So to me, that's all. I think that's all people want is to be like, show me you care the way I care. Right. It's the people who are like, sorry. You're like, you don't care about my stuff, do you? Right. So.
Oops.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. But yeah, it's been good. It's nice to be able to see
LASIK twins.
LASIK twins.
Except I probably have to go
LASIK
get
cuties.
mine
Is yours wearing
redone.
off, huh?
It's honestly, it's held up really well for 10 years. It's just at night.
You're getting old.
My
Father time.
fear is though, because I'm like, what if? Well, I could just start wearing glasses at night. But then my fear is if I start wearing glasses,
And
my
somebody
vision.
breaks in.
No. Or I'm hunting.
Could happen.
Yeah, what if I get kidnapped and I don't have my glasses?
And I don't have my glasses. And there you go. You're coughing.
There you go. See, I got anxiety cough.
Don't move. Don't blink. Don't talk.
No. You know, that actually runs through my head. I'm like, if I ever got kidnapped, I would give myself, or like, you know, or somebody breaks into my house and I'm hiding, I would give myself away immediately because I would start coughing.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a scenario that plays through my head. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I thought about just like maybe getting glasses for nighttime driving, but I mean, it's not bad enough where it's probably gonna be soon where I need nighttime.
I think
Corrective.
once you get into your 30s, things just happen.
Yeah, but I was thinking about just getting glasses, but my fear is that if I get glasses for nighttime, my vision's just gonna rapidly decline because that's what happens when you get like I remember when I got glasses in like 5th grade. The minute I started wearing them, my vision just like rapidly declined because your eyes are now needing that extra.
Now, here's an argument to you because some kids who are little, well, obviously all kids are little kids, like when they're 5 or something like that, and they need corrective lenses. They give them corrective lenses with anticipation that they grow out of it, and a lot
I've
of them
never heard of that.
Yes, and a lot of them do. They'll have
Really?
glasses when they're little, and then they don't have to have them later on. So I don't know. I think that might be bro science. The fact that
Really?
it rapidly declines. Here's what happens when you have to overstrain your eye. That's when your vision deteriorates.
Yeah.
So the moment you alleviate that straining on your eye, like wearing
I
glasses,
almost feel like my doctor told me that though, or my
You-
optometrist.
that's like 10 years ago. Science
That's
has
true,
doubled. Remember,
maybe.
you know what they told us 10 years ago? The food pyramid, that you need to have the
Oh,
grains. The
yes.
most is you need
That
to
was
have
like
8 to 12 servings of
worse.
grains a day. No,
But I don't know. But I also like am not at that point yet where I'm like having to squint. But I think it's coming in the next year or so.
Well, listen.
Yeah, but also age.
Yeah.
You know that
Super old.
You're you're older. But also pregnancy messes with your eyesight,
Does it?
which kind of sucks.
I keep telling you, eat the placenta.
Yeah, should have.
You didn't. What'd you
Should
do with the
have.
placenta? Just throw it away?
Yeah, I didn't want to see that thing.
Wow, we could have
Or
had
eat
pills.
it.
We would have had a great vision.
Yeah. Darn.
Would you have eaten the placenta if you put it in pills, like they put it in pill form?
Capsules?
Cap-
If it was encapsulated, yeah.
Disgusting. That was a
Why?
test.
Why? I wouldn't care. I don't know. It's not. It's disgusting to me if like you get a fork and just start eating it.
Nah, it's like a ribeye.
Yeah, but if it's in capsule form, I don't care. It's just taking like a vitamin. But
You're eating your own body, though. That's weird.
yeah,
It makes sense to me if it's like a guy eating his wife's placenta, because it's like it's somebody like, here's what I mean by it. There are supplement companies that take a liver of animals and like they break them down into capsule form. So
Oh,
you take
yeah.
so if you have like muscle tearing and stuff like that, it rehabilitates you really, really fast. But you're taking other animals or well, it's not a person's, but
Yeah.
other animals is like liver. It's weird when it's like your own body part, you know, like it's like you're taking toe clippings and then get it
Yeah.
turned into something else and
I've
redid.
tried my own breast milk,
Did you?
just a little.
Straight off the tap?
I couldn't reach.
All right. We're getting into another
We need-
segment. Let's save that for the next episode.
We need to cut it there.
All right, folks. This has been fun.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Shout out to Minton Pine for being on the new Mr. Builder YouTube channel. Well, not new Mr. Builder, for being the new.
There's a video
co-host. I
coming
ordered
out
you a bunch
soon.
of work clothes for the area.
You
so,
did?
mhm.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
I'm excited to wear it.
All right, folks. Love it. Share it. Subscribe it. Tell people and whatever.
All the things,
All the things.
people.
Bye.
Bye.